All right, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and just do some other really basic review to make sure you're solid in preparation for Math 3. So, one of the skills you're going to be doing a lot, or one of the things you'll be doing a lot in Math 3 is solving equations. So, we're just reviewing that really quick to make sure you got that down. Remember, the name of the game is get the variable, which is in these cases is x, and you're trying to isolate that variable. So, and there are a plethora of ways of doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you one way you can do it. So I'll go ahead and subtract 5x, for instance, on both sides. By doing so, I'll have 3x minus 5x, which is negative 2x. 5x minus 5x is 0, so we just say the term cancels. Really, it's 0, though. And then we have a negative 11. Now that I have all the variables, I like to get all the variables on one side. Now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and move the constants, so the ones without a variable, without a letter on them, to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and move this 4 over by subtracting it. And so negative 2x is still going to stay the same. 4 minus 4 is 0, so that cancels in a sense. Negative 11 minus 4 is negative 15. And then the last step at this point is to get the coefficient, this number in front, off that x. So you do that by dividing. And that gives us negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. So we just have a 1x or x. Negatives cancel out, so we have 15 over 2. 15 divided by 2 you can also say is 7.5. Okay. Let's go to another one a little more complicated. And by the way, feel free to skip over to ones that you want to see more than others. So this one, first thing I want to do, anytime I see parentheses, I first want to distribute. And I'm going to be distributing negative 3 into every single term. So this 4 is just going to stay exactly as it is. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. So negative 6x. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. And we still have 2x plus 4. So once again, I like to get all the, well, first off, before I do that, I like to combine like terms. So on this left side, I have a 4 and a negative 3. They both do not have an x, so I'm going to combine those. So 4 minus 3 is a 1, so we have 1 minus 6x equals 2x plus 4. Then I'm going to go ahead and make sure all the variables are on the same side. So I'll add 6x to both sides. So I need to reverse that. So I have a 1, negative 6x plus 6x, those cancel out. So we have 1 equals 2 plus 6 is 8, so we have 8x plus 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and get all the constants onto the other side. So I'm going to move the 4 away from that x by subtracting it. And 1 minus 4 is negative 3. We still have 8x. And in the end, I can divide both sides by 8. And you have negative 3 over 8 equals x. And I'm just going to leave it like that. That's simplified and everything. Go ahead and do a couple more. So this next one scares people because there's a fraction, but it's actually just as easy. In fact, probably easier than those other two. So first thing I'm going to do is move anything added or subtracted away from that x. So I'm going to go ahead and add the 3 over. So I have x over 7 equals, and those cancel, that's why. And then negative 1 plus 3 is 2. The reason it's super easy, before we had like negative 2x equals negative 15, we divided by 2, or negative 2. This time we're dividing by 7, so to undo division, we're going to multiply both sides by 7. So you have x equals 2 times 7, which is 14, and you're done. Now this one is particularly scary for people, and that's because we've got 2/3, we've got a half, so we've got a couple fractions, and it just looks more complicated. What I like to tell people is if there's fractions and you don't want to have to deal with fractions in an equation, I tell people to go ahead and find the least common multiple of these bottom numbers. So multiples of 3 are like 3, 6, 9, and so on. Multiple of 2s are 2, 4, 6, and so on. Notice the least common multiple of the both of them is 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply every single number, and I mean every number, by 6. Okay, so 2/3 times 6, just as a review of how to do fractions, you multiply, I would change the 6 to 6/1, and then you just multiply straight across. So 6 times 2 is 12, 3 times 1 is 3, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So on this first one, you'd get 4x. The next one, 6 times 1, that's super easy. You get plus 6. The next one, 6 times 8 is 48. And then last one, 6 times a half. Once again, you can do the same trick. Oops, sorry. Skip down. Oh, I'm up here. There we go. 6 times a half, or you can just do split 6 in half, is a 3x, so it's minus 3x. And then you just work your magic from there. So I'm going to go ahead and get the variables on one side. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 6 so that all the constants are on another side. And then I'll divide by 7. You'll end up with x is actually equal to 6.